Can I respond? Yes. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. I've always been saying this, and I think um, it's part of life. There are some of us who, for the better part of our careers, have always been classified, profiled as underdogs, and it makes us to understand the importance of doubling our efforts each and every time we are being given an opportunity. And here we are again, find ourselves in a very same situation as underdogs. We need to respect Senegal. We need to respect the profile of their players. And I feel that we need also to make sure that we do our best and get what we want. And I think the best way to summarize it, I'll say, TT has just said it now, that football is universal. Football has evolved, and things have changed in football. And there are factors which are playing a very important role in modern football, which when we prepare our team, we take them into consideration. And it's very clear that very few people know much about us, and this is the opportunity for us to make that mark, but with respect to our opponents.
Mark, just give me 1 second for the lady to install the device.
If you want to listen to the translation, you just have to select the language you want to listen in. So this is English. If you want to listen to English,
Okay.
and keep this on, please. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
All right.
Go ahead, Mark.
Marc Gleason, CAF TV. Deux questions aussi, s'il vous plaît, monsieur. Allez.
You asked the captain the question too. Yeah, all right.
Okay, thank you so much. If I can recall well, you were asking about the target, what we want going forward. Yeah, obviously, I think I can take ourselves back, and I can take my statement back when I open here that it's not every team that has came here. Only 24 teams have came here. And if you look at the group that we are coming from, it was a difficult group also. So when the qualifiers started, no one gave us a chance that we'll be here this time around. So what I can say is that we're going to take one game at a time, and at the end of the day, we'll see how the outcome will come. But our target already, we have discussed them within the camp, and we know that what we want and where do we want to go.
Coach, can I ask you, you've got a couple of players from clubs in North Africa. Do they make a big difference to you in terms of preparation and helping? And Titi, can I ask you, you left Chiefs and went to Libya. We haven't really followed how you've been playing, but I'm wondering whether the league there is as tough as the PSL, and if not, have you progressed or regressed as a player?
Okay. To be honest with you, I think if there's one thing that one needs to give credit to the northern part of Africa, it's the intensity they're playing with, and also the professionalism we see around. I think there are so many positive that one can take from the northern part of Africa in terms of how they do things. And when you look at your players who are playing in the north, you get to see so many things. One, how they train, how they conduct themselves, and lastly, their influence within the team. So you can see that they are real role models who show that they are playing in professional leagues, and they are also hungry and eager to achieve more. So for me, I think they are playing a very important role in making sure that even the local guys can see a difference between them and those that are playing locally. So for me, I think, like I'm saying, they are learning where they are playing, and the very same lessons that they are getting where they are playing, they are taking them back to the national team. And those that are in the national team are taking the very same influence into their clubs. And that is why, if you can check, generally, football in Botswana is growing. You go to First Division, you'll still find exceptional talent. You go to Premier League, you can spend the whole weekend analyzing matches and see a lot of talent that the country is producing. Captain?
Okay, thank you so much. Obviously, South African League is one of the big leagues in Africa. So what I can say from your question is that if I take the experience that I gain from South African League, and then the experience that I get from the northern side of the Africa, which is in Libya, and add it, I think it will help me as a player to evolve.
Hi, Coach Babacar Diarra for RFI. You're one of the African coaches involved in this competition. You're South African, but coaching Botswana. Is it something you're proud of, being an African coach? Because Botswana may have hired a foreign, like for Europe or whoever knows, coach. Are you proud of being an African in this competition, in this AFCON?
Thank you very much, sir. And I always say, I always thank the Football Association of Botswana for trusting me. Like you are saying, it was just easy for them to hire anybody, but they opted to take somebody who understands Southern and African football. And as an African in the biggest competition in the continent, I'm very, very grateful, because not many get this opportunity, especially at my age. I think these are some of the things that, one, when you look back, you say your growth comes in many ways, and this is one of those opportunities that one has to use it in making sure that you empower yourself, you grow, and you also try your level best to influence your players to see things the way you see them, and make sure that we work as hard as we can to make sure that more and bigger opportunities comes our way. And this is the opportunity where we need to make a mark, we need to make our names, we need to write history, we need to make sure that we leave a print in the minds of many people, and this is the opportunity.
Hello, Coach. Hello, Captain. I have a question for my name is Pape Oumar Keita, Senegal, Seneweb. I have a question for the coach and the captain. Okay, I have a question for the coach. What kind of judgment do you have of Senegal, and what kind of match you expect against Senegal?
Okay, thank you. A team that is playing a very flexible 4-2-3-1 with a lot of overloads. Sometimes, like I say, they are very flexible. They can even play from a second ball. They can even play on diagonal balls. Very, very, very influential in starting their play at the back. Their right side, they always try to influence the game. You know, they have two types of fullbacks. If they feel that maybe there's a lot of pressure, they bring defensive fullbacks. If they feel that they need to attack more, they change and bring fullbacks that can give them that offensive edge. So, I mean, we know who we are facing, and we have tried our level best to make sure that we profile and analyze them better. And we needed also to make sure that as we do that, we complement our strengths, our weaknesses, to make sure that we become a better team on the day. And I always say the most important thing about football is to make sure that you know much about your opponents, to a point where you even know when are they going to make substitutions. And if you look at certain things, they tell you that they are a very consistent team in terms of their lineups and all of that. So these are some of the things that one would say. They inform how you prepare for the game against them. And at the same time, the most important thing is to make sure that you remain focused in your game, and you know what you can do and what you don't want them to do.
All right.
Hi.
The microphone is on.
Yes.
The captain.
In the middle here.
Okay,
Yes.
go ahead. And then after you, sir.
Okay. Right here. Leroy Kebea for Canal Plus. We've seen yesterday the Comoros being a bit shy defensive against Morocco. They didn't really try and dare. Is that what we can expect from your team tomorrow, or are you ready to attack and entertain against Senegal?
Okay. Yeah, we are playing one of the biggest matches, and one of the biggest matches which you need also to characterize properly. When you try and categorize your match, the first thing that you need to do is to say, what is it that they consistently do? And what is it that you need to do to make sure that you eliminate those threats that they might bring in the game? And secondly, how you approach the game, it is also informed how they attack. If they play more on a high zone, obviously you'll have to make sure that you also try and keep your lines, your blocks a little bit deeper. But if they start to play maybe more deeper, that's when you say you must also try and advance your zones, because that's the most important thing. And at the same time, football it has something that not many of us really understand. There's where the attack starts and where the attack ends. Those are the 2 points which are very important in a game. And when you miss the first part where they start, you need to make sure that they don't finish where they want to. And secondly, as you are doing that, you need also to prepare your ways of saying, how am I going to make sure that I get to attack these people if they do this? So all these things will inform how we want to play. And I feel that the Comoros had their plan, and they wanted to do whatever that they had to do on the match. We also have our plan, and our plan is informed by how our opponents are playing and what is it that they do consistently, which I think we all know that the first thing that they will want is, when are we going to Koulibaly, and from Koulibaly, where are they going? So those are some of the elements that when you try and profile your game, you say, do you allow them to play to Koulibaly, or do you force them not to play to Koulibaly and go the other side where they are not usually going? So these are some of the things that you do. You know that they will always play to the keeper, and who will always try to look for a vertical pass. Do you allow them to play to the keeper and give that vertical pass, or you block that vertical pass? So those are some of the elements.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Coach. Lucas Collin for Stats Perform here. Yeah.
Oh,
He's on
okay.
the back of the room.
More general point of view, what did you think about the opening ceremony yesterday in terms of atmosphere, celebration? Just a few words on this.
Yeah, thank you very much. One, let's firstly give credit to Morocco for the best organization in this tournament, and also providing and availing resources which I think of high standard. Honestly speaking, there are so many things that when you look at how they are doing things, you can simply say, yes, we are in a very big tournament, a tournament that has attracted every African, every football person. And also, one needs to also give credit to CAF. I think this is a high-level organization, and obviously, us as teams, as national teams, we need only to complement this beautiful organization with good football, and also try our level best to give the supporters, the spectators, a good and quality football. Okay. All right. Is it this one or this one? No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Bonjour coach, c'est Soda Thiam, journaliste à la radio Futur Média RFM
Sorry,
Dakar
I
Sénégal.
can't. No.
Let me have this device. I think it's this one now.
This one. This one.
You should just put it in
In English.
English, yeah. So audio.
Okay.
We need to add the
Yeah, I think I raised the volume.
volume is raised.
Okay.
Okay, allez-y.
Je disais, je m'appelle Soda Thiam, journaliste à la radio Futur Média.
Yeah, go ahead.
C'est bon. Alors, coach, une annonce, la CAN tous les 4 ans, à partir de 2028.
It's okay, you can continue. You will translate.
La CAN...
Hmm?
Allez, c'est
Yeah.
bon.
Yes.
Go ahead, go ahead.
La CAN tous les 4 ans, à partir de 2028, ce qui revient à dire que ce sera une CAN tous les ans, à partir de cette édition même, 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028. Ne pensez-vous pas qu'on vous a filé une patate chaude, si l'on sait que la CAN demande énormément de préparation, et si vous allez jouer chaque année une CAN d'ici 2028, comment est-ce que vous voyez cette décision prise par la CAF samedi dernier? Merci.
The question was that the fact that the CAF decided to postpone the CAF organization every 4 years, Don't you think that will affect your teams, knowing that you will almost play an AFCON for the next 4 years? Comment ça? Une CAN en 2026? Oh, okay, meaning with the African Nations League, and then the AFCON 2027, and then AFCON 2028. Don't you think that that is a kind of a problem for your team, or for the nations like Botswana?
I think there are experts in every organization, and I think the technical people who advised the administrators in terms of how to structure the Africa Cup of Nations, the Nations League, I think they look they took consideration of many things. One, I think football is growing in Africa, and as football is growing in Africa, there are countries that have already advanced. And for those that need to catch up with those that have already advanced, you need to try and increase the number of your preparation cycle, and which I think if you have 4 years in between, it simply says that you have your 3 years of preparation for the tournament and a year of competition. For me, I think technical people who advised, they took it from that point to say countries need to have more of equal chance in terms of developing and also growing the football in the continent. And secondly, I think it also allows countries to have proper planning, because if it's for 2 years, for example, currently we have a group of players who are in the Africa Cup of Nations, and you need to see how many of them will be available for the next Africa Cup of Nations. As you are also saying, if it's 4 years, it says it's a preparation of Africa Cup of Nations and World Cup. So obviously, it's easier for you to determine your cycle based on that. So for me, I think technical people, administrators, first thing that they did was to put development of football in the continent. And I still want to emphasize, there are countries that have already advanced, and it's easier for them to play every 2 years. But there are those that need to get to the level where others are, which needs more time to prepare for that. So for me, I think I'm for the idea.
All right. There, Babakar.
Thank you. Hello, Coach. Babakar Faye of BBC. So since the edition in Egypt 6 years ago.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Since the edition in Egypt 6 years ago, where we had two African coach at the final stage, Aliou Cissé and Jamel Belmadi, the trend is now reversing, and we have more African coach on bench. How personally do you perceive this evolution in relation of the overall tactical level of African teams?
Yeah, thank you. I think we need to be honest and say the reason why we have more number increasing in terms of African coaches in this tournament in particular, or in the national teams, it's because I think coaches are now hired or employed based on what they can do. And that's one thing that also helps, because it means, it says to us, we need to work hard. It shouldn't be because I'm from South Africa, therefore I qualify to coach South Africa. But it should be based on what can I offer. And am I prepared to grow as a coach? Am I prepared to empower myself? And these are some of the things that I think informs the appointment of many of us. So obviously for me, I think the most important thing is to say, we need to understand that there is competition, and competition that comes from the European counterpart that we need also to compete with in terms of empowering ourselves and make sure that we develop ourselves and become better coaches, because our players are exposed to different coaching methods. And if we are not growing and we are not advancing, it's easier for them to start thinking that the European counterparts are doing better than us. But if they come to a training session and they see our level of preparation, they start to understand that in Africa there is talent, as much as we are meant to produce for the European countries, but at the same time we have talent that coaches can be able to make sure that they compete with the rest of the world.
Yes, go ahead. D'abord, Pape Alassane, ensuite vous.
Pape Alassane, Senegal. The content of your friendly game against Tunisia was quite interesting before your arrival here in Morocco. Does that mean that you're going to play the same way against another giant, Senegal, or maybe you're going to play more carefully?
are you spying for your country? No, look, there are things that we had to do in a match against Tunis, and there are things that we'll have to do against Senegal. If you follow your football well, you'll understand that most of the time when you play against the North African teams, they always want to play you on a high line. They always want to put you under pressure. And sometimes you need that to make sure that you prepare your players or you activate them to be able to play under pressure. But we know that there are moments where Senegal will want to play a high line, and there are moments where they will want to say, can we wait for them in this zone so that they come? So the preparation always, when you prepare for the game, there are things that you need to make sure that you generalize so that they give you a better version of what you want to do in the next match.
Thank you, Coach. Yes, Ndiasse.
Coach, bonjour, Ndiasse Sam de RFI. Moi, je voulais savoir pour vous, pour le joueur, comment vous ressentez l'impact de cette qualification-là à la CAN au niveau de la population botswanaise, où on sait que l'athlétisme est quand même un peu plus vu, avec des athlètes qui sont des dieux vivants comme Tebogo ou Kebinat Chipi. Est-ce que le football a besoin d'un exploit comme une victoire sur le Sénégal pour un peu rattraper cet écart de popularité?
Coach, my question is how impactful is your qualification for this AFCON, knowing that in your country, athletics, the athletes, people who are on athletics are more famous, more known and everything. Do you think a victory against Senegal will be allowed you to become more popular in the face of your country people?
Yeah, I think we can only take the positives and the motivation from our athletes in our country, but we need also to be honest. It's easier to prepare one individual for a race, but it's very difficult to prepare 11 people for a tournament, because you firstly need to choose the best 11 from more than 3,000 players that you have. But it's very simple for you to say, Litsile is our top athlete, then for us to invest and prepare him, it's much easier. So for me, I think the first thing that we needed to do was to say, Litsile has always been doing well in athletics worldwide. And why? It's because he has adopted a mentality of saying, my success will never be determined by where I come from. And that is the statement and the mentality that we have tried to instill in our team, to say we might be from a country that people know less about in terms of football, but we need to be a generation that will make people want to know more about Botswana. And this is the opportunity where we are competing against the best in the continent. And for you to be recognized is to make sure that you do well against the best in the continent. And you need to give them respect because they have walked this path before you. But the most important thing is that it is your opportunity also to make sure that you show the world what you are capable of doing. And this is the opportunity for us to say, we take what Litsele is doing against top athletes in the world, and he becomes number one. And this is our chance also to say we are competing against the best in the continent. Can we go out and do our best and make sure that at the end of this tournament, people will know much about us?
It's 3 minutes past 12, so we have 3 minutes extra time. I have to end this press conference and say thank you to the coach, thank you to the captain Titi, and thank you for you guys as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
OK. Alors, pour les médias détenteurs des droits, la broadcast liaison officer voudrait que vous restiez dans la salle. Pour les médias détenteurs de droits. Merci.
La famille s'est réunie. Quel chaos.